Do you remember those clap-on, clap-off light systems people used to have? I was doing research for this video when I learnt that they still exist. But what if I told you there was a game that utilises this mechanic as part of a security system instead of your standard lighting plan? There's this horror game called Clap Clap. It's a short horror game that's part of the Nightmare Files where this creature hunts you down utilising this clapping system to its own advantage. While it may seem like a regular horror game brought on by random circumstance, I would argue that there's a very articulate plan that these creatures are using in order to take over these homes, and how we can learn that this neighbourhood was doomed from the beginning. But before we do that, please do subscribe. It's free and you can always unsubscribe later. Subscribing is the best way to support my channel as it allows me to make more videos and helps me reach more milestones. I really want to hit 400k before VidCon in June, so if you could just check to see that you are subscribed, that would be great. Thank you, and back to the video. In the game, you play as someone hired for house sitting. The issue is the area isn't all that safe, as there's been reports on people going missing. Nonetheless, you still need the money, so you house sit for someone who has a new security system called Clap Clap. Now, we all know what Clap Clap is, because it's been advertised throughout this whole town, and the advertising doesn't look cheap, because it would be hard to move around this town without knowing what Clap Clap is. You get into the house under the impression that the people who own it are out on vacation, but when we get into the house, something is off, especially due to the body we find first thing. Now, the first thing I want to point out is the idea that the body we found is actually the owner. Considering the fact that he typically asks his neighbour to house sit, it's uncharacteristic that he would ask us instead. Unless he didn't ask, and it was actually the creature, luring people into the house who are under the impression they're only going to be house-sitting. We go about the game doing regular chores until the objective changes when we find the creature hunting us down operating the Clap Clap system by itself, and it chases you around the house until it eventually finds you. Your first thought when you enter this game is that these monsters could be people, or are a virus, or something that spawns in due to hearing the sound of claps, but what if I told you that while they may have some humanoid features, I believe there's something else entirely. I believe that these creatures are their own form of intelligent life, and this isn't just some thoughtless attack. This was a carefully crafted plan to take over each house individually without raising suspicion. I believe that these creatures are turning this neighbourhood into their nest. Or at least it's becoming their nest. These creatures are taking over the neighbourhood to satiate their hunger, and the company Clap Clap is helping them do it. Think of it this way. Clap Clap starts advertising in the neighbourhood, someone buys their security system which they use to lure in the creature. The creature starts killing people, causing more people wanting to buy the security system. But hang on, if people find out that the homeowners are dead, wouldn't that look bad for the company? Well, luckily, Clap Clap has thought that through. They cover it up by saying that the homeowners have left or have gone on vacation somewhere, which is entirely plausible when you hear that there are people around town going missing. The homeowners are going on vacation and the house sitters are the ones going missing, but at the end of the day, they all end up the same. Dead. A pile of bones in a bin bag. The creatures also appear to be smart. They write on the walls, they don't leave the house so they're not spotted, and they know how to operate a fridge. It could be entirely possible that the company was made by these creatures, or at least made by people who made a deal with them. And this is how the Clap Clap business thrives, and how the creatures are able to form their own nest. This is known as brood parasitism, where one species takes over another's nest once it has been established. Which means that the monsters that attack you are babies. And I hear you ask, how can these creatures be hunting you down the entire game only to be the offspring of another creature? Well, let me tell you this, oftentimes when animals are born, they can't see. Most of the time this is due to being born with closed eyelids. This is likely to prevent dust getting in the baby's eyes when it's first born. When we look at the Clap Clap creatures in game, it's hard to see, but we're under the impression they have no pupils, or possibly have their eyes closed. They are blind. To combat temporary blindness for children, parents will often be the ones to keep a close eye on their child and feeding them, and that's one way of doing it. But another way is to have a noisy prey, something that can directly lead the predator's offspring towards them, signalling where they are. And what better way to do that than with clap-on, clap-off lights, which explains why the creatures themselves clap back, because they are trying to alert the fact that there's food in the area. to gather more of them. Plus, it's the best security system that they can operate, which is why they need it in those houses. I believe that their entire system is to target towns until every house has a clap-clap security system. Then they take over the houses for shelter, preserve people's bodies, and to the best of their abilities, keep it intact until there's no more left. And then they switch towns to find another one to attack. And it's done in a way that doesn't arise too much suspicion for the company. Naturally, people see that there are people going missing, so they buy a security system. Seeing that the most obvious one advertised, they go for that one. It would also make sense to try and get out of town while everything calms down, knowing their security system will at least keep their house safe. This then allows the creatures to kill them off, and everyone just thinks it's vacation. Better yet, it allows them an excuse to lure any other sucker that hasn't got a security system, yet will work as a house sitter, which is why they don't contact the neighbour, but instead us. Cause we haven't got the clap-clap security system, but the neighbour has. The best case scenario in the game is that we get to the police station and we tell them what we saw. They find the bodies, but they don't find the creature. And that's where the game ends. However, I believe there's no way for us to win. Because by the time we get to the end, the clap-clap security company is still active and the police have no clue, meaning the cycle continues until there's no one in the town left. But what do you guys think? Are we onto something here? Thank you guys so much for watching. These videos are always fun for me to make, so it's great to know that you guys enjoy them as well. Thank you to my members. Once again, your support for this channel is why I can continue to make these videos, and I appreciate it so much. But if you can't become a member, that's okay. I'm thankful to everyone who's subscribed. Thank you, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!